Why would you do that? Hello, everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Something was said at the last minute, and I had thank you all for joining us. We are going to recap the Mayfair Witches, the Rough Beast. This is episode 8. Oh yeah. What is the Rough Beast?
The rough beast was me getting through this show. Um, but for the sake of the title, the rough beast actually has a biblical allusion to Revelation, the second coming, the Antichrist. So the rough beast.
All right, y'all. Let's start with our intro. All right, so before we get started, there are a list of things that we want to talk about. But before we get started, there's just something that I want to know. I want to start with Brittany. Your thoughts on the entire season?
Speak your truth, girl.
She's collecting her thoughts. Maybe she didn't hear
Looking
me.
like Elsa and Anna over there. She frozen.
I think she's frozen.
So Corey, your thoughts on the entire season?
I just, I don't know if my disappointment is because of what we saw in interview and what I expected based on what we got with interview. But the whole season, I've just been wanting more. Like it's just been edging me and edging me and edging me, and I still ain't got what I wanted out of it.
Edging you and edging you and edging you,
and I ain't got no release from it. I don't understand. It's like
Pressure all built up.
Right. I just want more. I want more. I want more. And I'm not getting it. And I'm so frustrated with this show. But I can't stop watching it. That's what the weird thing is. I cannot stop watching it.
Like watching an accident. Just it's bad.
Committed to it.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But I will watch season 2, if that makes any sense.
It does. I agree.
Mm-hmm. It can only get better. It can only get better. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be quiet. Bearer of Men, your thoughts on the entire season?
I feel like the show has cut off at every suspenseful moment where they should have been feeding that moment to me to make me watch the next episode. They would cut it off. I think they should have cut it off a little bit halfway through the suspense. Instead, they cut off to the next episode, and then the next episode started off slow. I'm underwhelmed, but I still like it. I'll watch it again because I feel like I promise you I'll only give it one more season. I ain't committed to it like that, but I'll give it one more because I feel like they had to be building up, and now that Rowan is finally showing up and owning her power, I hope that means that she can be a different character, or maybe they'll recast her.
I think it's the act. Do you think it's the actress?
Yeah, I do. I think that she is beautiful. She's gorgeous, but at the same time, and I like to watch her. Her little eyes are just like enthralling. Like, it's a great body. Like, I and it could be that it was filmed in a way that I didn't like because remember aforementioned that they cut off a lot of cool scenes that could have been the thing that caught me and got me hanging for the next episode, but they cut it off on those parts. So it could be that, but she's pretty enough. I'm willing enough to watch it again, but in total, with a culmination in the end, I'm glad that she's finally being a badass. I'm just confused about where it came from. And I just feel like motherhood happening to you in a day doesn't do it, especially if you ran away from the child at first.
So the actress, Alexandria Daddario, she played a more witchy character in a slasher type show called it was called We Summon the Night, and it's on Netflix if anyone is curious. She was
Yeah.
way more demented, way more she gave us more of that. So the actress in and of herself, I think she has the capacity to go where we want to go with Rowan. Um, and that's why I was excited to see it because of of her as an actress, and I had seen her in a couple of other movies. This in particular, which made me, want to watch this because it's basically a satanic cult that she's a part of in this
Oh,
show. Yeah. So, and she basically just kills people for no reason as a part of this cult. So it's a good show. You guys should watch it. Um, but it will give you a completely different spin on the actress as a whole. So I think she can do it, but I don't know if it's the writing or the direction or how they're directing her. But
hello.
I just want more.
I do too. And the last part was just like I like that she tried to get fiery, but I felt like they cut it off or they didn't dramatize
Yeah.
it like they were supposed to. And I felt like it could have been a satanic voice coming out of her or something, you know? Like when she was chanting the words, it could have got a little bit more.
Instead of her just screaming it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of took me out of the moment too. The way she was just yelling out into the open air in a like halfway guttural voice.
audio didn't get witchy,
Yeah,
clouds
why didn't
didn't
they
get
add
dark. They had a
vibrato or
special effect.
something to it? Right,
Yeah, I was like, what
right.
the hell? And this is her embracing her power. I felt like it got darker and cooler whenever her her ancestor did it when they kept filming it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, if you showed it when she did it and it was like that, and even when her mom finally did it, she was in the room alone. It was seductive, but it still got witchy. So when she did it in rage, I expected it to be like and it just was like, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was like cute, but it was sweet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And I was like, y'all keep turning her roar into a meow, and I don't want to watch.
Not
Like,
a roar, it's a meow. I like it.
yeah, it was like you're showing people. It was like that part on Lion King where he was like, wow, 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 wow. After Dad did his thing, and everybody bellowed in laughter. That's how I felt. I felt like I was supposed to be like, oh, she about to get mad, and then they cut it off.
So
And I
what do
was
we
like,
think about Lasher then? If that's her feelings about her, is he part of the issue or the concern, even in this episode or
I mean, obviously he's
this
supposed to be
show?
Satan because where the hell are you coming from? Where you were the guy who also thrashed her, and now you're in her womb.
Hey, so can we be in neutral for a minute? Cause y'all in drive and I didn't get to say how I felt about the show overall.
How you feel, friend?
My bad.
So I can never get this time back from this show. And I was just patiently waiting, for the Corey and Erica show to pause so I could say how I
I'm
felt.
so
And
sorry. I'm so sorry.
thank y'all so much because y'all had a great conversation going. Yeah, no, y'all really did. And I was
Hold on,
listening.
hold on, Trick. Hold up,
So
dog.
thank
Make
I
Friend,
don't know
you've
if
been
you
saying that you've
don't
been
make
losing
me hit
time
the Trick
watching this.
Daddy while we record.
what I don't know if you
Hold
had noticed it, Watson, but her
on.
and Corey had boxed me out when you had left off screen.
Hold
It was really kind of like bullying, but I just sat here and took it. They boxed me out. I didn't get to say one word, like nothing. They thought I was on mute. I wasn't. I was never muted.
Virgos. I'm gonna tell you about the Virgos. The way they over exaggerate. They
What?
the way they act like they can't move you out the way like they just did. And they come on me about them not talking. But it's okay. I'm gonna put myself back on mute.
Yeah,
Well,
tuck your
look, you got
clothes.
to blow now. What you saying? Say what you saying.
So, like I was saying, I can never get this time back, and I feel like, much like a pallbearer, they let me down. Like it happened. And if I had at least two more hands, I would give it four thumbs down. Um, I just not a fan. Not of the acting, not of the transitions. Didn't love it. Did not love it. Now there were some moments, but not enough for me to be like, at least I liked the show. Not enough. That's all.
Okay. Thank you all so very much for your honest opinions of this particular show. So let's get into the episode. The Rough Beast. So it started. So Brittany really wanted to talk about this, but Brittany is having technical difficulties. But she wanted to talk about the opening scene where basically Rowan allows Lasher to kill Kevin. And now this was because Tessa had just died, and so obviously Rowan was very emotional. So, your thoughts about that scene? Let's start with Elia.
Let me mute.
Um,
Let me mute.
don't do that. Don't mute. Don't mute. I need y'all to be off mute. So the opening scene with to use Erica's word, the witchiness, with her getting enraged and all of that, and allowing Lasher to kill Kevin. I thought that had so much more potential than what was displayed on screen. Great
Like when
idea,
they
poorly
finally killed,
executed. Huh?
like when they finally killed him.
It was poorly executed.
I agree.
It just was like, even when she was like given into the darkness, like it was just poorly executed. That's just my take on it. Like, I like where they were trying to go, they just didn't get there.
Okay, so I'm gonna break my silence. I did not like, and I expressed this to Elia this weekend. I did not like the fact that these witch killers or these witch burners became the crescendo of the season, when in the beginning of the season it was just kind of, it was an afterthought. If you really think about it, we never brought that up at all. We didn't bring them up at all. Like, it wasn't even like, okay, why mention this? This is like a throwaway line almost, right? And so all of a sudden they become the climax of this season, and I feel robbed. I absolutely feel robbed, right? Like, I don't know exactly how best to put it. I feel like if they wanted to do something with Tessa, the character of Tessa, we should have been able to see her actually use her power.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like,
Or even a
we never got to
relationship
see
with
her.
Rowan.
We never got to see her use her power. Yes, to your point, her relationship with Rowan. I don't feel like they did a really good job of explaining how and why all of a sudden Rowan wants to be Tessa's protector. I get it. She wants to be in with the witches of Mayfair. She clearly she still has Lasher. She doesn't want to accept it, but she knows she still has Lasher. And so she wants them to accept her. But girl, if you got Lasher, they're gonna accept you no matter what.
Right.
Ain't
So
got no choice.
Hello.
what all is happening? I don't like you said the directing. I fault the writers. What the hell have you done? And why?
I told you, it's like that gumbo with all the sausage, seafood, and all the fixings. What a bad roux.
Hmm,
You just ruined it. You just
hmm,
ruined it.
hmm.
Do
So
you
Eric,
think? Go ahead.
no, Corey.
Do you think that had they introduced the witch hunters earlier and actually woven them into the plot of the show, that you would have liked it better? Because I, on the other hand, would not have liked it because it's been done. How many supernatural shows with witches and supernatural creatures have they introduced witch hunters at some point in time to get to some climactic point where everything is killed and there's only two people left or whatever, whatever? I feel like it's been done, but I think they could have done a better job of what they did with the witch hunters.
It wouldn't have mattered because the writers sucked.
Oh my god.
So, Bearer of Men, it looks like she's having some technical difficulties as well. The next question was going to her, so I'm going to skip that. And I am going to go to the lack of chemistry between Rowan and Ciprian. Let's start with Corey.
So, considering that they have a baby and they've had a few in the beginning, I kind of feel as though they were showing something. Like I was expecting some fireworks, I was expecting a romance, but it's like they lost something. I don't know at what point in time they lost. I don't know if it was a lack of scenes between the two characters and they increased the scenes with Lasher, or maybe that was intentional. But it's almost as if you don't really give a care about Rowan and Cyprian towards the
It's
end.
not believable.
It's not.
It's not
And
believable.
not at all. And the other thing is at the end that leads to Sip's moment where he's kind of acting as though he is just like everyone else, wanting to control her and the power. I don't see that as his character. Like I don't feel like that's his character. I just kind of feel like that's also a something else that happened as a result of the bad chemistry between the two actors in the two roles that we're supposed to kind of root for. I don't root for them as a couple. I don't give a shit. Excuse me. You know, I don't care, what happens with Rowan and Cyprian. And in the beginning I kind of did care a little bit because it was that, we had that sort of little pull because he was trying to protect her and all this other kind of stuff. But at the end I was kind of like, whatever. Sip, go and find somebody else.
It was weak. You standing in the rain holding an umbrella with this fully white baby. And she like, hey,
That's
let's go
supposed to be
back to
your
the Mayfair
baby.
house. Right. Like, let's go back to the Mayfair house. You like, what? It was just weird. Like,
It was
okay.
weird. It
We
was
have
weird.
taken a full-fledged trip to Crazy Town. Like,
Yeah,
all
the Mayfair
expenses
house, that
paid.
house where they trapped us at, where I got stabbed and I was bled out at. You want us to go back and live there? That's where we going to live
Oh,
with this
okay.
with this white baby,
With
which is Lasher, by the way. You want us to go live with Lasher, a happy threesome in the house? That
Now
make
look,
sense.
now happy threesome sound good until you put it that way.
But I mean, it's weird. It's weird. And then the other issue is the baby. So she is in a relationship with Lasher, or a part of Lasher, but she birthed the physical form of Lasher. So isn't that her son? And she gonna be with her son? That's nasty. I mean,
What you mean she's gonna be with her son?
meaning they're gonna be together. Like when he becomes of age, I'm of the mind that Rowan and Lasher, she's gonna raise him or whatever, whatever. But they're going to be together. They're going to be an item. That's what I take of it. I mean, take from it. They're not.
I don't know. I was expecting to love this show so much that I would continue reading. I have no thought. I'm not gonna read any more of these Mayfair books.
You've divested.
Completely.
Ooh, when you divest from something. Especially if we look back at some episodes where we were so excited, you was telling us about the books and how they correlate to each other, and now you're talking about you don't want to even read the books. I
No, I
want to read
don't.
them. I'm curious to how the story is actually supposed to go, because this ain't it. I don't think this it. This not what Anne and Christopher wanted. I don't believe
I
it.
don't, because maybe only about 20% of the book do we see on this show. It's not enough. Like why would I want to read the book when what I'm seeing right now, there's no parallel. There's no consistency. So why it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Can we also talk about Cortland and his incest? Like
His rapey ways.
his rapey ways. Like how big of a deal is that in the book? I'm just curious.
So it actually happened in the book. It of course it wasn't Cortland. It was Julian. Julian was the one who raped Deidre. Um, so yeah, that happened. But to be fair, that sort of thing happened in the Mayfair line throughout time. It
I
wasn't
mean, it's something that happened in the South at certain points of history, that it makes sense. It correlates. It's just,
cousins,
yeah,
but not
it's
uncles.
Uncle Daddy.
uncles.
Uncle Daddy.
That ain't cute. I don't like that. They should have thought better about that.
That's just nasty,
It's nasty.
and not in a good way.
No,
to
not
borrow
the way,
Elliot,
not the
not in
way,
a good way.
not the way we
Mm.
like. The
Uh-uh.
bad kind of way. Show me on the doll what bad man touched you kind of way.
Corey, go on mute. Tell me on the doll. Where else did Uncle Cortland touch you?
Right, where's Uncle Cortland? And who else is Uncle Cortland touched? I mean,
This is too much.
so we talked
And-
about what we hated. How could it have been better, though? How could it have been better?
Fire the writers.
No, if it was us doing it, what would we have changed about this show to make it what we expected?
I think
Well-
we I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I think we spoke about better weaving in those past situations with Suzanne instead of just putting them in the front of the episode or something like that. That would have been better. Up in the witchery, not rushing through the parts because you took so much time to do the build up with like the first 1 through 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been better.
I think I would have liked to have seen the history of the family a little bit more. Like,
Yes.
there were some interesting characters there. I can't think of her name, but the black Mayfair, which I can't. The aunt, what's her name?
Mhm. I
Her.
don't know her name.
I would have been. There's something there with her character. The actress that played her did a good job, and I would have liked to have seen that side of the Mayfair family because it's more than just her. Where the rest of them at? And there were some other people. There were some other people in the room when they did their little thingy that were of different ethnic groups. There was someone that was Indian, native Indian. There was someone that was, a lot of different.
Arjun.
And I was curious about their role in the Mayfair family. I think the more interesting story in the first 3 to 5 episodes could have been the background of the Mayfair family. And
Absolutely.
then they show what's the face getting to New Orleans. I didn't even need to see San Francisco. None of that.
Right.
I ain't
You
have
know
to see
what?
that.
They spent a lot of time there. You are absolutely right. And it wasn't edifying. Like it didn't add to the storyline, not one thinking bit. So y'all could have just skipped all of that. Could have just mentioned that she was a doctor. Showed her on the boat
Right.
once. Whatever. But all of
Showed her
that.
at one scene with her mama, and then her mama could have been that.
A love. How about a love story? Not necessarily a love story like, oh, we fall in love with Ciprian and Rowan, but give us some like
Passion.
there was nothing between the two of them.
Passion.
Like there was nothing. I mean, yeah, we get to see them in bed, but they were basically reliving the same day. What do they know about each other?
Right. It's just getting to fall for each other was we touched hands, and then that was the end of the episode.
And the light, light that they showed, that was supposed to be the connecting the light.
If anything, like in that moment when they touched hands, show us something. Show us
Hmm.
what's happening. Show us what you know about these characters. Show us, you know what I'm saying? Show us something that makes us love these characters so much more. We didn't get to see that. What we saw was that, like, after the show, the one of the writers and the creators of the show, she basically said, "Oh, this was supposed to be so much more intimate than actually having sex." Bitch, where?
Right.
How? We just saw them touch hands. How is that more intimate? I don't get it. Like, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I have had more intimacy with a Twinkie from
No.
Walmart. Like, come on now.
With this new strawberry Dr. Pepper that's out. That's
My new primary care. Okay, the strawberry Dr. Pepper.
Jesus.
So, when Ciprian's sister, Odette, that's her name. Ciprian's sister, her name is Odette. She comes back to Ciprian's flat, and she's trying to find information. She's trying to find him, and she sees this business card. It's the Talamasca.
Now
And
she
so
sees it. She go digging through his crap and looking for it.
and she calls, right? And of course they come, and they want to wipe her memory. I get that. That makes sense. I get it. It makes sense to me. But all of a sudden they just decided they want to take her, right? And then boom, last time that we saw her, she was pregnant. We had no indicate, like, we didn't know how far along she was.
Right.
Did they tell us how far along she was? Did somebody tell us how far along she was?
I
don't
thought she
remember
was
that.
newly pregnant when we first saw her, but obviously not.
And she's having twins, right?
Mhm.
Was that the case? So she's having twins. Normally, this is a question because I don't know. So when you're having twins, at some point, aren't you normally like in the bed? Like,
Not all times.
not all the time.
But if she had the baby that recently, like she just walking around looking for her brother now after she didn't
Yeah,
have a
she
set of
should.
twins.
Right.
Well,
Right.
yeah. See, and that, like, that's another thing. Like, I don't get any of that. I don't get any of that. Nothing. I don't get it. Can somebody explain that to me?
It cannot be explained because that's another major inconsistency. And why did y'all even bring Odette back?
Right.
Why? Why was
What's the
she
whole
even in
purpose of
another
her?
scene?
Just for the milk?
Because right,
Just
because
for the
y'all
milk.
mentioned the lactating, but
I feel
okay,
like
we
they could
never
have
even
found
got to
anybody. They could have found anybody off the street. You know what I'm saying?
that. Y'all could have got some Similac
So you mean to
because
tell me?
this is a magical baby. He don't have to have no breast milk. He already gonna be stronger than everybody. Get him some Similac.
And by next week, bitch, you're gonna be fully grown. I don't understand.
So you ain't gonna need the Similac in the next 3 hours. Smuff was crawling in a handmade diaper in 2 minutes
And by the way,
after they done turned Cortland to stone.
let's talk about the fact that this baby came out whiter than a snowman in minus 20-degree weather.
In Antarctica.
Correct.
And your daddy
Correct.
looked like he full blown African. Shaka Zulu.
From the tribe, Jesus.
Your daddy is dark as a thousand midnights deep in the cypress swamp.
Ooh.
And this you come out full Caucasoid.
Snow White, baby. Snow White. With blonde hair at that.
I,
I'm like,
I don't understand these things.
y'all could have
And
just let Cyprian be white if y'all were gonna do that. Like, come on now.
or even like, Lasher it looks like he's of Hispanic nature or Hispanic Latino origin. He could have been of that heritage. Since it's supposed to be Lasher, that would have made a little bit more sense. But since Ciprian technically is supposed to be the daddy, then he should have had some brown coloring, or Ciprian should have been white. They should have casted a white actor for the role.
Let me ask you this question, because you said this before, and I'm asking for my clarification because I know what happened in the book, right? I'm putting that aside. So on the TV show, maybe I missed this. So the baby is supposed to be Lasher in the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they've been saying that she is the doorway for Lasher to come
Mhm.
back into the physical world. So the baby is Lasher. That's why
Yeah.
you don't when when she is when she is birthing the baby, why Lasher no longer communicates with her directly like he had been communicating with her because he was in that transformation process. His spirit or essence or whatever was going on you know was with the baby. That's why
Yeah.
at that moment after they had sex, he disappeared. And
Right. So they're saying the 13th is the doorway. So he no
right
longer has to go through a Mayfair witch to,
to be
just be
seen
able
or
to
touched
manifest.
or
He
whatever.
can, right, he can actually be in this world
Right.
full out.
So this is what I will say about the book. So according to the book, all the people of Mayfair descent, they carry a gene. You know how what is it? We have Homo sapiens, and then you have Cro-Magnons, and you have troglodytes, and whatever else, right? All of them are quote unquote human or whatever. But this so the Mayfairs carry a separate gene, right, of another quote unquote human, right? They had supposedly been wiped out, and then all of a sudden, so this baby has the markers for this. And the only reason that this baby was tested for it was because Rowan, see, in the book, Rowan was she built, um she made certain that the Mayfair family was over a hospital in New Orleans.
Hmm.
In my mind, I was just saying, oh, it's Tulane. Um, so they did some research, yada yada yada. They put a lot of money into it. Again, the Mayfairs were billionaires. But when she was pregnant, she left and she went basically to Europe. And so in Europe, she got them tested. She got herself tested. She also had the markers for it, but the baby um, had I had more markers than she did. All right, and those markers allow all of the Mayfairs to have the powers that they have. Right. Um,
Okay.
so like like I understand why people say, oh, he's supposed to be the devil. No, not really the devil, just a human with more abilities, right? But this show is like completely different. I, I don't know. I can't make heads or tails out of this.
So I guess based off what they've shown, I'm assuming he's a demon, based off of how he's changed his experience, and they've kind of led to believe that he's a demon, but they haven't actually said what Lasher is. They just said he's some sort of primordial being or something along those
I
lines.
don't think he's a demon. I do think he's a spirit, and I do
Right.
think that he's a spirit with like negative intent.
Hmm.
But I don't think of him as a demon per se.
I get that. I get that.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
just glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over because I couldn't do another episode of, just nothing, just lackluster. Like in the one episode that I actually kind of liked, we just went backwards again. And that's what I was hoping would not happen. And I'm just really happy that this has come to a close, even though there are still no real answers. Season two, you
You got to come
know,
correct.
Oh yeah, you
if
got to.
if I'm not in the mood to watch reruns of Golden Girls, then I'll probably watch it.
That's every night I watch a Golden Girl. Every night before I go to
Li-
sleep. Every night.
Okay, that's good TV. Okay, and how many black people they had in that show? I'll wait.
Uh,
Exactly. So
3,
that's
and they was on
so
only on a couple episodes.
okay. So that ain't what it is. That was just good writing. Good writing, good acting, good
Good
TV, and that
acting.
So
And they weren't
yeah,
all big names at they two of them were, but a couple of them, were just, well, they all were kind of
The three, the
three,
three,
yeah,
yeah, they were big at the time. They were
at the
big at the
time.
time. I think we were just a little young to know. But
Yeah.
they were big. Estelle Getty, she was that was her first time acting. Estelle
Yes, and
Getty.
she was the youngest. She was the
Yes.
youngest.
yeah,
Mhm.
which was so funny. But
I'm a
yeah,
fan, baby. I got books and everything about the Golden Girls in there. Figurines, all
I
kind of
got.
stuff. T-shirts.
I was about to say I got a trivia game.
Love the Golden Girls. Me
Well,
too.
maybe we
I
ought
got
to do the Golden Girls.
I am a fan,
yes. Okay, who would you be? Okay, because look, that would have been more interesting watching them on a Halloween episode than watching Mayfair, which is because didn't do it for me. So needless to say, I'm glad that it's over. That I can't get the time back, but it's
baby.
over now. So just
So
do
I guess
something
that
else.
brings us up to what are we watching? What are all of us watching now? What have we been watching after?
Wolfpack.
So good. It's so good.
Oh, I gotta
It's so
jump on it. Okay, so I'm gonna watch Wolfpack.
it's so
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
I've been watching Truth Be Told on Apple Plus. It's with Octavia Spencer, and she is a journalist who in this first season she's uncovering, um, trying to get to the bottom of a crime and trying to find out who done it. When she in
Not a who
fact
done
was
it.
one of the main reasons behind this guy being sent to prison, and she's trying to reverse that.
It
It's
is. So like a whole lot of it has to do with her family
Mhm.
and like she has issues. I believe it was with her sister. I saw this during the pandemic, so it's been a minute.
Yeah.
So like it was something that I put on early in the morning while I was doing work. But for whatever reason, I didn't get into it. I
It
didn't get
has
into
four
it.
seasons, and
Oh,
it's still going on. So it's not
now that's
anything
good for
ending.
Apple Plus.
Yeah, because look like their stuff they just kind of stop after a couple of years. Look like,
Yeah.
but at least they close it. But it has four seasons. It's really so far it's been really good, and
What's
it's huh.
No, I was gonna say Ted Lasso,
I
or
haven't
what's the
even
name?
looked at that. That looks like that's silly.
You haven't seen it? Oh, it's so good.
Is it really?
It's so good. That in the morning show.
Okay, the morning show is next. The morning show is next.
What's
I
the morning
love
show
me some.
on?
Hmm.
It's on
What'd you
both of
say?
these
Oh,
Apple Plus.
both of them. Okay,
Yeah.
don't worry. I have a
Well, no,
login.
wait. Right now they have three. You get 3-month trial. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Let me
So
cancel my subscription.
Let's just say
there's a.
don't need it. I got a sister with it.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. Go on there and start watching the first. We on episode 5 of Truth Be Told. Start watching it. Catch up. We talk about it.
Y'all gonna have to send this in the text. You know I'm not gonna remember.
I know.
I've been watching Harlem on
Is it good? I want to
Prime.
start.
I like Harlem. I like it.
Is it the show that we all wanted when insecure to fill in our insecure void? Is it that?
It
I
reminds me of
wouldn't go
Girlfriends.
that high for
Oh,
Insecure because I really, 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 really like Insecure. But Harlem is cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I'll say that. You say it reminds
It
you of
rem-
Girlfriends?
yeah, only the images. Only the images. For some reason, I got that Girlfriends vibe from
I get that. A more modern interpretation of Girlfriends.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else we watching?
Of note, that's about it for me.
And the inside of my eyelids. That's what I'm about to watch. Okay.
Well, 1923. I'm still waiting on Yellowstone.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because season 5 hasn't dropped on Peacock yet. So we're on season 4 now. So we are slowly but surely catching up. So by the time they release season 5, we'll be ready to watch it. Hopefully it'll be up by the end of the spring. I'm assuming.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all, it seems like we're done talking about Mayfair witches and what rough beast the motherfuckers.
What a rough, what a rough ride it's been, and not in a good way.
Up and
Ooh,
down.
ooh. Ooh, it's like this. You know what? We should have known from that first sex scene what this show was going to be about.
Mhm.
That was the foreshadowing for our asses right there.
I just wanted more, so much more.
Yeah,
But I'll be there for season 2. We'll see. I'll at least give it halfway through and see what
Right?
happens.
You masochist, you wait for season 2, you masochist. You
I'm gonna
love the
wait for it.
pain, don't you?
I'm not. Well, listen, I'm not gonna be waiting on pins and needles like I'm waiting for interview. So when it happens, it happens. Interview,
True.
I'm ready for it now. They come out in
True.
October and say they got it. I'm ready for it. So
And look, for me, when Mayfair comes out, I need to wait a good 3-4 weeks before I watch it, because I'm gonna need to watch it straight through so I can decide whether or not I like it. And you know what? Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe I'm watching it week to week, and maybe if I watch it straight through, maybe it's a better vibe. What you think?
If you
we
gotta
gotta
do
say
all
this.
of that and throw salt over your shoulder and pray and all of that to like it, that's too much. Because interview every episode, I was hanging on waiting for the next. Like, oh wait, what?
It's true.
And these were not the same writers.
No,
They weren't the same.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Mm.
that was stupid. They should have had
Mm-mm.
at least 1 or 2 people that was from the team that did interview on the team from Mayfair.
And you know what? So the thing that Star Trek does is all of the writers come together from all the different shows, and they say, this is what we plan on doing. And they purposefully say, okay, in this episode, we're going to mention X, Y, and Z that you're doing in this episode. So there is a seamless link between, even though it's different time periods, because that's what's happening with Star Trek. All of these shows are happening in different time periods. So it's like they're feeding each other. They're feeding
That's
each other.
the other thing. There was no link between this show and interview. None. Whatsoever. That was a missed opportunity. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us. We do realize that Mayfair has not caught on in the same way that interview has. So we hope to give you something a little bit better next time. Y'all enjoy. Have a good one.